He called me the cleaning lady. I remote locked his yacht and his career. I was 23 when Marcus Brennan first called me the cleaning lady. I wasn't a cleaning lady. I was a marine electronics technician. Or at least, I was training to be one. But to men like Marcus, women like me were invisible unless we were serving them. That morning, I was kneeling in the engine room of his 70-foot yacht, the Ambition, routing cables for a new navigation system. My hands were covered in grease, my hair tied back with a rubber band I'd found in my toolbox. I'd been working since 6 a.m. because the marina had double-booked installations and I needed the overtime. My daughter's daycare bill was 2 weeks overdue. Marcus came down the stairs in deck shoes. That probably cost more than my rent. He didn't look at me, not really. His eyes skimmed past me the way you'd glance at a chair. "Hey," he said, snapping his fingers. "Cleaning lady, there's coffee spilled in the galley. Can you get that?" I looked up from the wire harness in my hands. I'm installing your electronics." He blinked, as if surprised I could speak. "Right. Well, when you're done with whatever that is, the galley needs attention." He turned and walked back up without waiting for a response. My supervisor, Gil, was on deck. When I climbed up to tell him what happened, he just shrugged. Marcus Brennan owns half the commercial real estate downtown. Don't make waves. So I didn't. I finished the installation, tested every connection twice, and watched Marcus sail away without a word of thanks. He never looked at the invoice. Men like that didn't need to. That was my life then. Single mother. Community college dropout. Living in a one-bedroom apartment where the heat didn't work half the winter. I'd gotten pregnant at 19, and my daughter's father had disappeared before she was born. My own parents had made it clear that motherhood, at my age, was a disappointment they wouldn't support. So I supported myself. I worked at the marina during the day and took online courses in marine electrical systems at night after Emma fell asleep. I was good with my hands, good at solving problems, good at becoming invisible when I needed to. The marina job paid $11 an hour plus whatever overtime Gil could throw my way. It wasn't enough, but it was something. And I liked the work, the logic of it, the way a boat's electrical system was like a nervous system, every wire carrying purpose and current to where it needed to go. Marcus came back 3 months later with a problem. His navigation system kept glitching. Gil sent me down because everyone else was busy and because jobs on expensive yachts didn't go to the women unless no one else was available. I found the problem in 20 minutes. Someone, probably the idiot who'd installed his entertainment system, had run a power cable right alongside the navigation wires, creating interference. Basic mistake. I rerouted everything, added shielding, tested it thoroughly. Marcus appeared as I was packing my tools. He was on his phone, talking about some acquisition. He covered the receiver. "You fix it." "Yes." The interference was... "Great. Make sure you lock up." He went back to his call, waving me away. I walked off his boat thinking about how much he'd probably paid for it. How he'd spent more on teak decking than I'd earned in 5 years. How he'd never once asked my name. 2 months later, Emma got sick. Really sick. What started as a cold became pneumonia, and suddenly I was sitting in an emergency room at 3 a.m., holding my daughter while she struggled to breathe. They admitted her. For days in the hospital. I missed work. Lost my overtime. When the bill came, even with Medicaid, I owed $1,800. I asked Gil for an advance. He said no. I asked if there was extra work. He said business was slow. I was behind on everything: rent, electricity, car payment. I started selling things. My laptop. My grandmother's ring. A guitar I'd bought years ago when I thought I might have time for hobbies. It wasn't enough. My landlord started leaving notes on my door. Pink. Then yellow. Then white, the final notice. I had 30 days. I went to the marina every day and worked like nothing was wrong, because what else could I do? I installed stereos and fish finders and radar systems. I climbed into bilges and engine rooms. I made myself useful, invisible, necessary. Marcus came back in April. He wanted a complete electronics overhaul. Full navigation suite, new radar, integrated controls, remote access capabilities, the whole package. It was a $40,000 job. Gil gave it to Derek, who'd been there 6 months less than me. I found Gil in the office. Why didn't I get the Brennan job? He didn't look up from his paperwork. Derek's got more experience with those systems. I installed his current system. I fixed it twice. Look, Marcus specifically asked for Derek. Why? Gil finally met my eyes. He said he wanted someone professional. Someone clients could relate to. Someone male. Someone white. Someone who didn't look like they'd crawled out of the bilge. I stood there, feeling something crack inside my chest. Not break. I'd been broken before. This was different. This was the moment you realize that working hard means nothing. Being good means nothing. They will always find a reason why you don't deserve what you've earned. I went back to work. I had no choice. Derek messed up the installation. I knew he would. He didn't understand integrated systems, didn't know how to configure the remote access protocols. A week after Marcus took the boat out, he was back, screaming at Gil about malfunctions, demanding it be fixed immediately. Gil sent me. I spent 6 hours in that boat, fixing Derek's mistakes, reconfiguring everything, making it work the way it should have from the beginning. Marcus was there for 10 minutes, long enough to tell me to hurry up because he had people coming for a weekend trip. He never asked why his $40,000 installation had failed. Never wondered who'd fixed it. Never said thank you. When I handed Gil my timesheet, he told me to put the hours under Derek's name. For accounting purposes, he said. That night, I sat on the floor of my apartment with the eviction notice in my hand and Emma asleep in the next room, and I thought about jumping off a bridge. I didn't. Not because I was strong. Because Emma deserved a mother who didn't quit, even when quitting seemed like the only logical option. I found a new apartment. Cheaper. Farther from work. In a neighborhood where you heard gunshots sometimes at night. I moved us in July, carrying boxes up 3 flights of stairs in 90-degree heat. I kept working, kept learning. At night, I taught myself advanced systems, satellite communications, integrated helm controls, remote access technology. I got certified in marine cybersecurity, a specialty so new that most installers didn't bother with it. I became the person you called when something was complicated, when something was broken and no one else could fix it. The marina started sending me to boats up and down the coast. I drove 3 hours, sometimes for a repair job. I worked through holidays. I missed Emma's school plays. I survived. 3 years passed. Emma was 8. I was 26. We lived in the same shitty apartment, but the rent was paid. We ate. She had clothes. I'd finished my certifications. I made $16 an hour now, plus overtime. I was still invisible. Still the woman they sent when the job was too hard or too dirty for anyone else. Still hon and sweetheart, and occasionally, from older clients, little lady. I'd learned to swallow it. Survival meant swallowing things. Then one Tuesday morning, Gil called me into his office. Got a weird one, he said. Marcus Brennan. His yacht's been stolen. I looked up. Stolen? Not exactly. He can't access it. The whole system's locked. Engine, navigation, controls, everything. He's dead in the water at some marina in the Bahamas. He needs someone to unlock it remotely. Why not Derek? Gil snorted. Derek quit 6 months ago. Took a job at a dealership. You're the only one here who understands that remote access setup. The one I installed, I said quietly. The one Derek installed. The one I fixed after Derek fucked it up. Gil had the decency to look uncomfortable. Can you unlock it or not? I thought about it. Thought about Marcus Brennan stranded in the Bahamas, probably screaming at someone. Thought about him needing me, really needing me for the first time. I'll need access to his accounts. The admin credentials. He'll email them to you. He's desperate. There's some big client meeting happening on that boat this weekend. Corporate thing. If he can't get it working, he's going to lose a deal. How much is the deal worth? Why? Just curious. Gil shrugged. He said 8 figures. Didn't specify. 8 figures. Somewhere between $10 million and $99 million. Riding on a boat unlocking. I'll look at it, I said. The credentials came through an hour later. I logged into Marcus's system from my laptop, sitting in the marina's break room with a cup of coffee I'd paid for myself. The system was locked, all right. Someone had triggered the security protocol, probably Marcus himself. Fumbling with controls he didn't understand. The boat was in full lockdown mode, a feature I'd installed specifically to prevent theft. I could unlock it in 30 seconds. I sat there, staring at the screen. I thought about that first day. Cleaning lady. The way his eyes had passed through me. The way he'd never learned my name in 3 years, even though I'd worked on his boat a dozen times. I thought about Gil giving Derek my job. About being told to put my hours under someone else's name. About moving to an apartment where I was afraid to let Emma play outside. I thought about how many times I'd swallowed my anger, my hurt, my rage, because I needed the paycheck more than I needed dignity. My phone rang. Gil. Brennan's calling every 5 minutes. How long? It's complicated, I said. He's offering a $5,000 rush fee. $5,000. That was 4 months of rent. That was the dental work Emma needed. That was the car repair I'd been putting off for 6 months. I'll call you back, I said and hung up. I looked at the screen again, at the admin controls I'd configured, at the access I had to every system on that boat. I thought about power, about who has it and who doesn't, about how power isn't always money. Sometimes it's just knowing which wire to cut. I opened a new window and started typing. First, I documented everything. Every installation I'd done on Marcus's boat. Every repair. Every hour I'd worked that was credited to someone else. Every time I'd been dismissed, ignored, erased. Then I opened my email and wrote to Marcus Brennan. Mr. Brennan, I can unlock your yacht. Before I do, I need to explain something. 3 years ago, you called me the cleaning lady. I was installing your navigation system. You never asked my name. You've never asked my name. I've worked on your boat 12 times. I installed the original electronics. I fixed them when Derek's installation failed. I configured the remote access system you're now locked out of. I've crawled through your bilge, repaired your controls, and made sure you never had to worry about whether your expensive toy would work. My name is Sarah Mitchell. I'm a certified marine electronics technician with advanced training in cybersecurity and integrated systems. I'm also a single mother who was evicted from her apartment because the job you gave Derek instead of me would have covered my rent. I can unlock your boat right now. I can also leave it locked. Either way, you'll know my name. The unlock will cost $10,000, paid directly to me. Not the marina. Me. You can pay it or you can hire someone else, though I'm the only person with complete admin access to your system, and flying another tech to the Bahamas will take 3 days minimum. You have until 5 p.m. today to decide. Sarah Mitchell, Marine Electronics Technician. I read it twice, changed a few words, read it again. Then I sent it. My hands were shaking. I just threatened a man who could probably have me blacklisted from every marina on the coast. Who could sue me? Who could destroy what little career I'd built? I'd also done something I'd never done before. I'd made myself visible. The reply came in 7 minutes. Fine. $10,000. Unlock it now. That was it. No apology. No acknowledgement. Just the transaction. I almost unlocked it. Almost took the money and went back to being invisible. Instead, I wrote back. Payment first. Wire transfer. I'll send account details. I included my bank information. Waited. 30 minutes later, my phone buzzed. A notification from my bank. $10,000 deposited. I stared at the number. More money than I'd ever had at one time. Enough to move, to breathe, to stop choosing between groceries and electricity. I opened the control panel and entered the unlock sequence. Then I stopped. I had complete admin access. I could unlock the boat. I could also change the access codes. I could lock him out permanently. I could do a lot of things. I thought about justice, about what it meant, about whether it was enough to be paid what I was worth, or whether something more was required. In the end, I made a different choice. I unlocked the boat. But first, I changed every password, every access code, every security credential. I locked Marcus out of his own administrative controls and made myself the sole person with master access. Then I sent him the unlock confirmation with a new message. Your boat is unlocked. You can use it normally. However, I've retained master administrative access to the system. This is standard protocol for marine cybersecurity. The technician maintains oversight to prevent tampering. If you want to change this arrangement, you'll need to pay for a complete system replacement. Cost estimate, $60,000 plus installation. I'll be available for any technical support you need. My rate is $200 per hour. Regards, Sarah Mitchell. I sent it and closed my laptop. Gil called 30 seconds later. What the hell did you do? Brennan's going ballistic. I unlocked his boat. He says you're holding his systems hostage. I'm maintaining standard cybersecurity protocol. If he has a problem, he can hire another technician. The system works perfectly. Sarah, I need to pick up my daughter from school, I said and hung up. I sat in my car for a while, waiting for my hands to stop shaking. I just burned a bridge. Maybe burned my whole career. But I'd also done something I'd never done before. I'd refused to disappear. Marcus called the marina 6 times over the next week. He called other marine electronics companies. He called his lawyer. The answer was always the same. The system worked fine. I hadn't locked him out of anything operational. I just retained administrative control, which, technically, was within the scope of cybersecurity best practices. If he wanted it changed, he could pay for a new installation. He didn't pay. 2 months later, I got a call from a law firm in the city. Corporate law, the expensive kind. They wanted to hire me as a consultant on a case involving maritime electronics. The case was against Marcus Brennan. Apparently, the big deal he'd been trying to close on his yacht, it fell through. Not because of the boat he'd made his meeting, but because during that trip, someone had hacked his personal communication system and exposed emails showing he'd been bribing city officials for development permits. The FBI was investigating. His company was collapsing. His assets were being seized. The law firm needed an expert witness on marine electronics and cybersecurity. Someone who understood integrated systems. Someone who could testify about security vulnerabilities in yacht communications. They were offering $50,000 for my expertise. I said yes, not because I'd done anything to Marcus's communications. I hadn't. I'd only touched the navigation and control systems. But because competent people were rare, and I happened to be competent, and for once someone was willing to pay me what that was worth. The case took 8 months. I testified twice. I was professional, thorough, invisible in all the ways that mattered. Marcus Brennan went to prison for 4 years. His yacht was seized and sold at auction. I heard it went for pennies on the dollar. I don't know if he ever thought about me. About the woman whose name he never learned, who kept his systems running while his empire fell apart around him. I think about him sometimes. Not with satisfaction, exactly. Not with cruelty. Mostly I think about the moment I decided to stop being invisible. The moment I realized that power isn't about wealth or status. It's about knowing your worth and refusing to accept less. I make $75,000 a year now. I have my own consulting business. I work with marine companies up and down the coast, specializing in security systems. Emma is 12. She wants to be an engineer. We live in a house. Nothing fancy, but it's ours. The heat works. She has her own room. I don't check my bank account with dread anymore. Sometimes clients are dismissive. Sometimes they assume I'm the secretary. Sometimes they call me Han. I smile. I do my job. I charge them exactly what I'm worth. And when they ask my name, I tell them. I tell them every single time.